Hey sis, it's your birthday today, right? Happy birthday. How does it feel to be 30 and still not have a boyfriend?
Well, I don't have a boyfriend, but
if it were me, I'd be so pessimistic about the future that I jump into a river.
If I got pessimistic about everything, I wouldn't have enough lives.
Exactly. Growing up ugly since you were born made you strong.
My younger sister Louise has always looked down on me and made fun of me since we were kids. And our parents always turned a blind eye to it. I'm Lucia, 30 years old. Louise, my 5-year-old sister, has had white skin, clear facial features, and looked like a cute doll since she was born. She has always been praised whenever she went. In contrast, I have no ordinary face, so my parents always dressed Louise up and favored her. That's why I worked hard in school to be praised by my parents.
Mom, I got a perfect score.
Oh, really? That's great. By the way, Louise has a recital at her preschool. I bought this dress for her. Isn't it beautiful? I think it suits Louise well.
Did you buy it again? You just bought new clothes the other day.
Well, it's a recital, and she looks good in anything she wears. Unlike you, she's worth buying for. You understand, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Louise went to a famous girls' school, but I went to the nearest school from our house. I worked hard and was always at the top of my class. But my parents never praised me. Louise never studied, but my parents were always happy because she would be beautiful in the future.
It's okay, Louise doesn't have to study. She can be an actress or a model in the future. And she's so beautiful that she'll surely be able to marry a good man.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. That's why you're studying so hard. Because you can't become an actress or a model since you're ugly.
Louise, don't say that. It's mean to your sister.
Well, but it's true.
The family conversations were always centered around Louise. I always felt left out and isolated at home. Studying was the only way for me to prove my worth. But no matter how hard I tried, my parents never acknowledged me. I was out of their sight. During that time, I became interested in law. I was drawn to the words, "All people are equal under the law," which was in the Japanese language I was studying. Even if Louise and I were not treated equally, maybe we were equal under the law, I thought. After graduating high school, I wanted to major in law at university and dreamed of becoming a prosecutor or a lawyer. But as senior year approached and it was time for career counseling, my mom said I didn't have to go to university.
What?
Louis' school is expensive. She's still in the middle school, and there will be high school and university expenses in the future. We can't afford your university fees.
But I want to go to university and study.
You're the older sister. You should be patient for your sister's sake. If possible, I want you to use the money you earn from working for Louise. Dad agrees too.
What?
When Mom said that like it was the most natural thing in the world, I felt devastated. It was yet another harsh reminder that no matter how hard I try, my parents will never acknowledge me. After graduating high school, I got a job at a small printing company and moved out of the house, thinking that if I stayed, my salary would just be exploited for my sister's benefit. When I said I was moving out, my parents tried their hardest to make me stay, saying it would be inconvenient for them if I left. Was there a hint of sadness in their voices? I hoped that I'd feel missed. That sweet expectation was quickly crushed. They were only worried that the money I gave them would lessen if I left. If they had said they were worried or wanted to live with me, I might have reconsidered. But such words never left their lips, so my feelings remained unchanged. I realized even more that I had no place in this family.
You're moving out?
Yes, I am.
Yay! Now I got your room, sister. I have so many clothes that Dad and Mom bought for me, and they won't all fit in my room.
Suit yourself. And with that, I began my life living alone. I didn't feel lonely at all. In fact, living without my parents or sister telling me what to do felt incredibly liberating. I never went back home after I left. And while my parents never asked me to visit or show my face, my sister occasionally reached out. When she entered college and when she got a job at a big corporation after graduation, she made sure to show off each time.
I got a job at a big company, like you. I actually went to college.
Good for you.
You've got a boyfriend yet? Oh, wait. Of course not. Who would date someone who couldn't even get into college? Who's ugly and works at a failing printing company? I never had trouble with men.
Right.
We haven't seen each other in so long. Have you gotten uglier? Send me a picture so I can laugh.
No way.
Jeez, you're no fun. You're such a drag, sister.
What's fun about my sister contacting me just to belittle me and laugh? I don't need to pick up the phone. But what if it's something important, like news about our parents? Even though I consider my parents practically non-existent, if they were ill, there's no way my sister would care for them. That thought always makes me answer the call. Parents are parents, no matter what. At least that's what I thought at the time. Look, if it's just to talk about boring stuff, don't bother contacting me. Just let me know if something happens to Dad or Mom. I told my sister that countless times. So maybe it's unnecessary worry. But whenever she contacts me, I can't help but think something might have happened.
Are you saying that if something happens, you're just going to come for the inheritance?
What are you talking about?
Sister, you're awful. You just want Dad and Mom to go to heaven quickly, don't you?
Stop saying that.
I'm going to tell Dad and Mom that you said you wish my sister would die.
Louise! I wonder how she can say such nerve-wracking things all the time. Maybe it's because she looked down on me since we were little, and that's become a habit for her. She enjoys putting me down, and that's what makes her happy. I try not to react and not to let it bother me, but it still hurts. I can't help but feel sad because of the difference between my sister, who has always been forgiven for everything she says, and me, who has never been acknowledged no matter what I do. But after she got a job, we lost contact for a while. Maybe she's grown up a bit now that she's a company employee. So when she contacted me for the first time in 2 years on my 30th birthday and said,
Happy birthday!
But then she said,
How does it feel to be 30 and not have a boyfriend?
And my happiness disappeared. I was even sadder because I had expected something else. If that's all you wanted, I'm hanging up.
I'm just trying to be nice by calling you on your birthday. But actually, I have something important to tell you. I'm getting married.
Oh, really? Congratulations.
Are you jealous? The guy is a graduate of a state university and works for a big company. And his family is rich.
That's great.
You could never land a guy like him. You've never even had a boyfriend, have you? Do you want me to give you some of the guys I've dumped?
I sighed, realizing she was just showing off. And I realized once again that our parents don't even talk about me. That's fine.
Look at you acting all strong. I'll call you again later. Oh, by the way, how much are you going to give me for a wedding gift? It better not be a cheap amount.
She said what she wanted to say and hung up. She hasn't changed at all. I had given up on expecting anything from my family long ago. I hadn't been in touch with my parents for a while, but 2 years ago I tried to let them know how I was doing. But both Dad and Mom showed no interest in me at all. If you're going to send me money, that's fine. But if not, I don't want you to contact me. I don't have time to deal with you, Mom told me. I didn't want to rely on them at all. But after hearing those words, I felt like I made a mistake by contacting them. I'm sure our parents are happy about my sister's wedding, and once she gets married, we will become even more distant. But that's fine with me. 2 months later, my sister contacted me to tell me that the wedding date had been set.
The venue is a famous wedding hall that celebrities often use. A place you could never go.
Yeah?
And you know what? I've decided not to invite you to my wedding. I'll just take the wedding gift though.
What?
Are you shocked?
The first thought that came to my mind was whether she had ever intended to invite me in the first place. I never thought I would be invited, and I never even considered attending. That's why I was shocked when she told me I didn't need to be invited on purpose. I mean, I quickly realized she probably just wanted to see me get upset.
You know, he's a highly educated elite. If he knew about a family like yours, it would be embarrassing. He said his friends are all well-educated and rich. You wouldn't want to be the odd one out, would you?
I get it. I won't go.
If it bothers you, why don't you find someone as good as him? But I guess it's too much for someone like you, huh? Want me to at least show you his face?
I'm good.
Don't be so jealous. He's incredibly handsome. Someone you'd never get a chance to meet.
With that, she sent me a photo of her fiancé without even being asked. I wasn't particularly interested, but I took a look anyway. However, the moment I saw him, I thought, wait a minute. I felt like I'd seen that face before.
See? We'd be the perfect couple, right?
Hold on, is this guy...
What? You want to nitpick?
Not that, but where did you meet him? Someone from Louis' company?
No, at a party. It was exclusively for wealthy, well-educated men. Finding a life partner is different from just dating, you know. Gotta be picky.
I've never been to such marriage-minded parties. When I inquired more, attendees apparently had to show ID and men had to provide proof of income. I asked for his name. It wasn't someone I thought I knew. Perhaps I was mistaken. I felt it might be intrusive to push further, but I was really curious. When I asked if she had met his parents, she said no.
They live in another country. They're coming here a week before the wedding. That's when I'll meet them. Oh, maybe I can invite you for that. Not the wedding, but you'd want to see his face, right?
Meeting the parents? Sure, I can go.
So you want to see him after all? I'll allow it, just once. But don't drool, okay?
It wasn't like I was eager to meet him, but I had a reason to. I didn't tell her because I wasn't certain yet. I might not be believed, and she'd just accuse me of being bitter. However, on the day of our meeting at the restaurant, I noticed both my parents and sister seem uneasy outside. Seeing them, I felt my concerns might be correct. What's wrong? What happened?
She hasn't shown up yet, and the restaurant said they didn't have our reservation.
Did you contact him?
I called many times, but he kept saying the number isn't in use. It was fine just yesterday.
Hey, you didn't give him any money, right?
Why?
You did?
I gave him $50,000 for the wedding.
$50,000?
He said he couldn't access his funds for work right now, but he promised to pay back with interest after the wedding.
Louise, you have been had...
Huh?
I had just received a consultation from a woman who had met a man at a party, lent him a significant amount of money, and recently started to worry that she may have been deceived. The photo of the man she had shown me was identical to a photo my sister had sent me of a man she knew. The stories I had heard from the woman and my sister were eerily similar. They met at a party aimed at finding marriage partners. Their parents live in another country and so on. The woman had gotten suspicious and contacted the company where the man worked. but wasn't able to reach him as he was supposedly out on business. However, she felt relieved to find out that he was indeed employed at the company. But as soon as she brought up the money she had lent him, all communication ceased. She tried calling the company, but he was always out. So she decided to visit the office in person, only to be told by the man himself that he didn't know her. Feeling desperate, she came to me for advice.
What do you mean, had?
It means she was deceived.
What the hell are you talking about? Just because you're jealous of me, don't make up ridiculous stories.
Then why can't you get in touch with him?
But how would you know anything about that, sis?
I just had a consultation with a woman who may have been deceived by a man who looks exactly like your boyfriend. She wanted to know what she would do and if she would get her money back.
Consultation? What consultation? Why would she consult you? You're useless.
Well, that's because I'm a lawyer.
Huh?
My sister and parents were all shocked by my words. After graduating from high school, I got a job at a printing company and studied for the bar exam on my own while working. I spent 5 hours studying every night after work and the entire day on weekends. Even so, it took me 5 years just to get to the point where I could take the preliminary bar exam. But all my hard work paid off when I passed the preliminary exam at the age of 23, and then passed the bar exam the following year on my first try. I went on to complete my legal training and got a job at a small law firm at the age of 26.
Don't lie. There's no way. Who didn't even go to college could become a lawyer?
I worked really hard. I didn't want to give up on my dream just because I couldn't go to college. Well, thanks to you. I had a determination to face any challenge. That's probably why I was able to do it.
You're lying. Dad and Mom didn't say anything about that, did they?
I didn't tell them. I was going to tell them when I got married. I did contact them about it.
Married? Sis, are you married?
I guess you didn't know that either. I thought you might not know because of the weird things you were saying about my boyfriend.
You're lying. You said you didn't have a boyfriend.
Well, that's because I have a husband. 2 years ago, when I told my parents that I was getting married to someone who had no family, like parents or relatives, and we wouldn't have a wedding, my mom said,
"Figures you'd only be able to marry someone like that?"
They never asked about my partner's profession or even what kind of person they were. Even though I had contacted them for the first time in nearly 10 years, they didn't ask how I was or if I had been well. There wasn't even a simple congratulations. All they said was only to rely on them. Their cautious tone, as if I was about to ask for money, deeply disappointed me. So I didn't tell them I had become a lawyer. I couldn't imagine parents who wouldn't even celebrate their child's marriage being happy about them becoming a lawyer. It became clear to me that my parents were not at all interested in me. In fact, they seemed to prefer to not be involved with me at all. For them, having my younger sister was enough.
You're seriously a lawyer?
Yes, I'm working at my husband's firm now.
So your husband's a lawyer too?
Yes. I then shared with my sister what I recently discovered about this man. He wasn't employed at the company the client mentioned. There was someone with the same name, but it was a completely different person. So this man was using someone else's identity. It was a clever deception. The person whose identity he was using was always out for business and hardly ever available, probably calculated on his part.
What does that mean?
I think he might be a professional marriage scam artist.
Marriage scam?
I thought I might met him here today, but it seems I'm too late.
What about the $50,000?
Both Dad and Mom were listening to my story, their faces turning pale. It seems they had provided the $50,000. I never thought they would give that kind of money. Considering it, my sister isn't the kind to have saved up that amount in the nearly 3 years since she started working. Given her impulsive nature, any salary she gets would be spent in no time. "Can you, as a lawyer, get the money back for us?" Mom said as if it was obvious, but it's impossible to recover the money if we don't know where he is. My parents and sister pressured me to get the money back, but that's not my job. Plus, I had no intention of representing these people. Meeting them after nearly 12 years and all they cared about was the money. It made me feel like they were already strangers. "We're family, so it's natural to help, right?" "Were we family? I wasn't aware." "We need that money back. We spent so much on Louise over the years. We don't have extra. Louise said once she marries him, since he's wealthy, we could be comfortable. We even went into debt because of that." How could anyone say something so outrageous? As I listened in disbelief, Mom continued, seemingly seeking sympathy. "It seems my parents had been drowning in debt for a while. My sister had already quit her job, saying she couldn't return to work because it would be embarrassing to admit she'd been deceived. Desperate, they ranted about how I should cover their debts and help them out monthly, assuming as a lawyer, I must be making good money. "We're even willing to live with you if you want." Something inside me snapped at that moment. I realized these people were no longer family to me. Engaging with them any further would just hurt. So I decided to protect myself and end the relationship. "I can help you. You should report this to the police or seek a lawyer."
You're abandoning your own parents?
"Did you ever consider me your daughter? I don't see you as my parents anymore." "Actually, I haven't for a long time. I have no intention of being involved with you." At that, Mom put on a show, crying about how I was their precious daughter and they valued me more than my sister. But it was too late. Hearing her words only made me feel colder inside. My sister frequently reached out, begging for money, but I ignored her. After some time, even Dad started calling, begging for help. Apparently, due to their debts, they sold the family home and now lived in a cramped apartment, enduring a tough life. To make matters worse, my sister wasn't working, just staying at home, eating junk food. Her skin looked awful. She'd gained weight, and she'd looked nothing like before.
She's not my daughter anymore. You're my only daughter.
Fortunately, I had a separate mobile phone work. Moreover, they have shown no interest in me and do not even know where I live. So there is no way to contact him anymore. I felt a weight lift off my shoulders once I severed all ties. Later on, the conman who tricked them was arrested. He had several fake IDs suggesting he had many other crimes to answer for. I did my best to help the woman who came to me, hoping she'd recover some of her money. My husband and I will continue to work together, growing our law practice and living happily. If we ever have children, I want to shower them with all the love and care in the world.
Now that our new house is all built, I thought I'd get a new wife too.
Excuse me? What do you mean by that?
I literally mean that I'm going to get a new wife. Since the house is new, I will also get a new wife. So, in other words, we are getting a divorce, Aubrey.
Saying that, my husband Tristan put the divorce papers onto the table. Then, my mother-in-law Margaret, who was sitting next to me, began to check the divorce papers. After checking the papers, Margaret looked at me with a serious look on her face and said this: "Aubrey, get a divorce with my son, please." Huh? My name is Aubrey, and I am 32 years old, and I am a housewife. I married my husband Tristan 5 years ago. We met up at a matchmaking party. He was a very reliable businessman working for a major company who earned high income. And plus, he was handsome and had a very kind personality, so I fell in love with him right away. Well, I think all the women at the matchmaking party were completely in love with him. But I won the competitive match between us women and succeeded in getting him to go on a date with me. I had a great time on our first date, and he was smiling and being happy for the whole time. He then started asking me out on several dates, and then we officially began to go out. We had a really great relationship as a couple, and after 1.5 years of dating, Tristan proposed to me, and we got married. I was very happy in our newly wedded life with Tristan, and once I got married, I quit my job. Since my husband earned a lot, I did not necessarily need it to work, and I got to focus on being a housewife. So, I devoted myself to do everything around the house and supported my husband as his housewife. I worked hard to make breakfast and lunch every day for Tristan, did my best to clean the house every day, and changed the menu and cooked different dishes for dinner every day. My husband always praised me and thanked me for my hard work around the house.
Thank you so much for the delicious meals every day, honey. Because you're doing a great job around the house, I can do my best at work, you know?
I'm very glad then. You acknowledging me like that just makes me more motivated to work harder around the house too. We have a very good relationship even as a married couple, and we acknowledge each other's skills and qualities. And I thought that we would continue to have a really good relationship and live happily ever after as a husband and a wife. But, excuse me? An accident? The hospital suddenly called to inform me that my husband had been seriously injured when he was hit by a car while he was traveling around in the company car. As a result, my husband got unfortunately paralyzed in the lower half of his body. The company would provide him with a disability pension through workers' compensation insurance, but now he had to live all his life with the wheelchair, and he was not able to work at all. With everything that had happened so suddenly, both my husband and I had lost all hope. Plus, I was pregnant at the time and was just about to welcome our new family with Tristan into the world and live happily ever after. Since my husband needed to be cared for, I was left to take care of him along with doing all the house chores. My husband was quite shocked at what had happened and had a really rough time mentally for a while. Tristan wouldn't respond to me at all when I tried to talk to him. And suddenly, I would hear him screaming in his room, in which he said,
Why me?
And he was angrily punching the blankets on the bed. I could only watch over my husband and cry. How could this have happened? My husband was just working so hard. Even the car accident. My husband wasn't the one who had caused it, and he had done nothing wrong. But I couldn't stay sad and depressed forever. It is in times like this that I must be strong and fully support my husband. I have to give hope to our baby who will be born soon. I wiped away my tears and ran to my husband. I will do my best to support you, so we will overcome all the obstacles together, okay? I have our child in here. Let's just do our best to be able to smile with our baby. I said this as I hugged my husband, and he hugged me back with tears in his eyes. I decided to move forward from now on, that I would have to do my best with everything that I have. So, I then decided to look for a job that I could do from home. While taking care of Tristan and then having a baby a few more months later, I would definitely not be able to go to the office to work. Which is why I had to find a job where I could work from home. Since I was always good with computers, I decided to start working as a video editor. I began to study how to edit video clips on my own, researching and gathering information from various sources on the internet. Since I had no income while I was studying, I did my best to save money. And as I began to study about editing videos, I was able to learn some skills. So I began taking on easy jobs at a very low price at first, so that I could just gain some kind of experience on editing videos. From then on, I just kept on taking on jobs after jobs. I thought it was important to do a lot of jobs at first, so I increased my workload at an unbelievable pace. Thanks to this, my skills improved hugely after just a few months, and I gradually began to receive orders for higher-priced jobs from different clients. Then, I had our baby smoothly, and a healthy baby boy was born. Our son was really adorable, and just seeing our son smile was enough to heal my busy, difficult days of caring for Tristan and working on video editing jobs. I am working hard partly to save money for my son's future school fees, but also because I was planning to build a house with an easy, accessible environment so that my husband can live comfortably in a wheelchair. I didn't tell my husband about that yet, but I have been working hard to save money to build our own home. My husband seems to have regained some of his energy as a result of my devoted care for him and also the birth of our son.
Oh, Theo is so adorable.
Truly, he really is like an angel.
By the time he grows up, I'll try my best to be able to at least play tennis in a wheelchair too.
That sounds great. I'm sure that you'll be able to move around more freely by then, honey. My husband started smiling more and more, which put my mind at ease. The multitasking of work, caregiving, housework, and raising a baby was harder than I had imagined, but I could work as hard as I wanted for the sake of both Tristan's and Theo's smiles. With this in mind, I continued to work even harder. And 4 years have passed since then. I have saved up enough money to finally build a house. So I told my husband that we were going to build a new house.
What? You saved that much money?
Yes, if we build a spacious house with an accessible environment, you will be able to live comfortably and play more freely with Theo too, right?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Aubrey.
My husband thanked me with tears. Then he made a proposal.
Well then, I have a suggestion. Why don't my parents also live with us and make the house a two-family house?
What?
That way, my mother can help me take care of me and raise Theo, and like that, you'll be able to focus on your work more, and we can all live comfortably, right?
Ah, well, you're right. I was simply grateful for Tristan's idea. After my husband's accident, his parents came to our house regularly to check on him. My in-laws, Jack and Margaret, were very kind and nice people, and they really appreciated me taking care of Tristan. Like that, I had a good relationship with Jack and Margaret, and we were on good terms. So I was fine with the idea of living with them in the two-family house. So my husband and I immediately contacted Jack and Margaret. Both Jack and Margaret were very happy when we suggested that we build a two-family home together. I think that they were both quite happy to be able to be near their son and also to live under the same roof with their grandchild. My husband seems to be in the best mood he has ever been in since that accident, perhaps because he can now own his own home and also be able to take care of his parents by building the two-family house. Tristan was talking more to Theo now, and it made me smile to see that kind of interaction between the father and son. I am sure that this will unite the family as a whole, and we will be able to live happily together. I was filled with hope for our future, and I continued to work hard after that. Our home was steadily being built, and finally, the two-family house was completed. This is where our new life begins. I would make lots of happy memories with Tristan, Theo, and with Jack and Margaret. I would finally be able to feel the joy again which I had felt when Tristan and I were newlyweds. Well, that was what I thought. But when I was packing up my belongings for the move, my husband called me into the living room saying he needed to talk to me. Just as I was wondering what on earth was going on, the doorbell rang and Margaret came over. "Oh, what's the matter, Margaret?" "Oh, well, Tristan told me that he needed to talk to me." "You didn't hear anything about that, Aubrey?" "What? Oh, no, I haven't." Margaret and I looked at each other and both tilted our heads. We ended up heading into the living room, and there my husband asked us to sit down.
Oh, Mom, you've come at just the right time.
What's going on? You told me that you needed to talk to me about something. When Margaret asked him that, my husband cleared his throat and then began to say something really unexpected and outrageous.
Now that our new house is all built, I thought I'd get a new wife too.
Excuse me? Margaret and I both let out a funny voice. And I completely froze, unable to catch up with what Tristan had said. What the heck do you mean by that? Margaret asked my husband instead of me. Then Tristan replied with a huge grin on his face.
I literally mean that I'm going to get a new wife. Since the house is new, I will also get a new wife. So, in other words, we're getting a divorce, Aubrey.
This time, my husband's words came easily into my mind. Now, hold on. What do you mean that we're getting a divorce? I wasn't at all convinced, and I began to shout at him. Why does it become like this all of a sudden? Hearing this, my husband continued to grin and say this.
Because, come on. Do you even look at yourself in the mirror? Your hair is dirty, your skin is rough, your face always looks tired, and lately, you're even starting to show gray hair. I'm sorry, but you don't look like you're 32 years old. You look like you're 40 years old, or even an old lady in her late 40s if you ask me. And I don't really want a wife who looks really old like that. So, I'm going to get a new, younger, prettier wife and live happily in the beautiful, comfortable, newly built home.
My mind went completely blank. What in the world was this man talking about? I worked so hard to take care of my husband, worked hard to save money, and even bought the house so that he could live more comfortably. I even saved up the money all on my own and bought a house so that Tristan could live happily and comfortably. And yet, he's demanding for a divorce. What had all my efforts over the past few years amounted to? I was just speechless from all the shock. But my husband continued to talk on and on, paying no attention to me or how I felt whatsoever.
You know, now everything is so convenient. I can meet new people just by video chats over the internet. I don't know if I should be saying this myself, but I am pretty good looking, you know? I told that girl that we could live in a newly built house, and that I'd receive disability pension, and that my mother would take care of the house chores and also take care of me. And once I told her, she told me she wanted to get married with me, so that's how it's all decided now.
How could you? According to Tristan, the other woman is a young woman and she was about 7 years younger than him. You're just so terrible. So, you just used me and then dumped me?
Well, I didn't ask for any of this and for you to do anything, and you were just doing your best to take care of me all on your own, right?
This is just unacceptable. How could Tristan even say such a thing? As I was being speechless, my husband wheeled over to a drawer and pulled out some papers.
Here, these are divorce papers.
My husband had downloaded the divorce papers, printed them out, and had them already prepared.
I've already signed my part, so you can sign the rest. Mom, you should check this too. And I think I'll also ask Dad to check it too.
Saying that, my husband Tristan put the divorce papers onto the table. All I could do was just sit in silence and watch everything happen. I was too shocked to move my body, even though I wanted to. Then, my mother-in-law Margaret, who was sitting next to me, began to check the divorce papers. I watched Margaret checking the divorce papers. Does this mean that Margaret accepted everything what my husband had said? No way. Does Margaret also think that a young, energetic woman is much better for Tristan? After checking the papers, Margaret looked at me with a serious look on her face and said this: "Aubrey, get a divorce with my son, please." Huh? Hearing this, I thought to myself that Margaret really didn't care about me either after all. I guess Margaret thought that what her son said was right. I was very shocked to find out about this. Not only my husband, but also his mother, who had shown me so much gratitude and smile, had also betrayed me. And like that, I would carry a huge scar that would remain with me for the rest of my life. Thinking this, I looked down, trying to hold back my tears. But then, Margaret continued, "You should break up with my unbelievable, stupid son as soon as possible, Aubrey." What? I was surprised to hear what I heard, and immediately looked up at her. Tristan was also surprised at what Margaret had said.
Mom, why would you even call your own son stupid and unbelievable?
Then, Margaret suddenly stood up, approached my husband, and slapped him on the cheek as hard as she could.
Ouch!
How horrible and terrible could you be, Tristan? Do you have any idea how devoted Aubrey has been to you for all these years? Aubrey here has been taking care of you while doing all the house chores, working, and raising Theo, you know. How dare you betray her like this? You asshole! This is totally unacceptable, no matter how much you had to go through that terrible accident. You really should be ashamed of yourself. My husband began to flinch as Margaret became extremely angry. I was also surprised because I did not expect Margaret to be so angry at Tristan like this. But Margaret showed no signs of her anger cooling off. "I'm so sick and tired of you. I will report this to your father, and I will make sure that we will disown you, as I do not remember raising my own son to be like this. From now on, you will live on your own, Tristan." "Oh, Aubrey, I'm really sorry about this, and please just get a divorce with Tristan and live with Theo in that house. And if you like, you can invite your own parents to live with you." What?
Hey! What the heck are you saying, Mom? That house is ours, isn't it?
Stop being so stupid and ignorant. Aubrey was the one who worked so hard to build that house, which is why that house is owned by Aubrey. You can stay here and live with your young wife and have her take care of you here.
No way. She says that she'll marry me because she'll get to live in a new house and that she won't have to do any house chores or even have to care for me. If we don't get to move into a new house, then that's a deal breaker.
I couldn't even care less about that. That's your own fault.
What?
My husband suddenly began to panic more and more.
Hey, Aubrey, please, I beg you. I'll deeply apologize for what I did, so please let us start over. And let's raise Theo together, alright?
And hearing what Tristan had said to me, I suddenly became logical at that moment. Ignoring my husband's words, I began to sign the divorce papers.
Aubrey?
You were the one who suggested for a divorce. So, why don't you enjoy your new life with your new wife? I will take care of Theo in our new house, so don't you worry about us. I will never ever let you near Theo ever again.
Oh no.
My husband had completely turned pale. Then, I loaded the car with all the stuff I had prepared for the move and we moved into our new house. I then successfully divorced Tristan. And I filed for child support from my ex-husband. My ex-husband, as expected, was dumped by that young girlfriend. Since I was at home all the time, Tristan couldn't really cheat on me and I could not request for alimony. But instead, my husband lost many things. He has been cut off from his own parents, and he will never get to see his son again. Furthermore, he has no one to take care of him, so he has no choice but to call for helpers or go to a nursing home. No matter how much disability compensation pension he gets, It will cost him a lot of money to have a helper all day long, and I am sure it will not be enough to cover for his own living expenses and rent. But that's not my problem anymore. I hope Tristan realizes how much of a jerk he was and reflects on his own actions and what he has done. I then moved into a new 2-family home with my son and my parents. I have kept in touch with Jack and Margaret since then, and we occasionally go out to dinner together so that they could see how Theo was doing. And now, at this point, I have been doing very well with my job, and I now make more money from home than I did when I was working in a company. I am now able to live happily with my family. I will continue to get along with my family and make lots of memories with them. Tristan is a lousy scumbag husband to betray his wife who cared for him and who devoted her time for him. He got what he deserved. I hope Tristan will spend his life all alone in a wheelchair by himself. I hope that Aubrey and her family have a comfortable and happy life in the new house she has worked so hard to build. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.